and I'm on the phone today with Judy Collins. Judy, thank you for making time to talk with us today.
A pleasure. Always glad to talk to Colorado.
And glad to be having your voice on the radio here in Colorado, because that is, well, Colorado's right there in the name of your latest song. I guess, first of all, tell me, where in the world are you right now? Are you in Colorado?
I'm in Florida. I'm in Key West, which is about as far south as you can get in the United States, I guess. At the end of the panhandle.
Which sounds much warmer than we've been having. I mean, you know, it's been typical Colorado cold this January. We've been, up here in the mountains, we've been below zero every morning and barely getting above 20 degrees in the afternoon.
Yeah, but it's a dry cold.
Yes, much better than that East Coast wet cold. I mean, I can't handle the East Coast in the middle of winter.
I know.
Well, Judy, like I said, we wanted to talk with you about, this latest track about Colorado. Tell me about the inspiration for the song.
I think just living and being a part of Colorado in my innermost secret place. You know, I live in New York. I don't get to Colorado enough anymore. Unfortunately, I don't ski anymore. I just couldn't. I had so many injuries that I just said, I can't do it. But nothing is like skiing. You know, you can't ever replace it. So I replace it with writing and thinking about Colorado whenever possible. And this song, Girl from Colorado, or Girl in Colorado, I guess is really the title. It came about sort of at the very last of the writing from my recent album, which is called Spellbound, as you know. And it just kind of popped out one day. And I sat down and started to write the music to it. And I think everybody who was on the recording session said, this is our favorite. Save the best till last, they all said.
Oh, very cool. Well, and tell me, how long did it take to write the lyrics? Was it literally, like you said, just one session?
A few minutes, really. It was, you know, some songs, some lyrics you struggle with, and you work on them, and you turn them around, and you turn them inside out, and you try to figure out the rhyme to the last verse and everything. Well, with this song, it just popped out. It was sort of like when I wrote my first song, which was called Since You've Asked, which I wrote in 1967 after Leonard Cohen had asked me why I wasn't writing my own songs. And I have written songs all along ever since then for 50 years or something. But they don't usually pop out like that. But this one did. It was just waiting to be sung and waiting to have a band play it and waiting for the radio to play it, I guess.
Well, and we're happy to have it on the radio. It actually debuted today here with us. We do Fresh Tracks Tuesday, and so we pick, a couple artists to play their fresh songs every day.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
And, my music director, he was the one who said, hey, man, you got to listen to this and give her a call and find out the inspiration, because he was also interested about, tell me about growing up. You grew up in Colorado. You really did grow up here.
I did. We got here from Hollywood in 1949, got to Colorado, and my dad took over the place of a singer named Happy Jack Turner, who was the voice of King Soopers, and my dad got the slot and stepped right in and started doing his radio shows. My father was a great radio performer and singer, and he was a pretty good songwriter himself, too, by the way. And he had written a song. As soon as we got to Colorado in 49, my father wrote a song about it and started playing it on the radio. And it was a good song. And then I wrote, over the years I lived there. Of course, I went to junior high school, and spent my summers when I was a teenager, worked at Lemon Lodge in Grand Lake, worked at a Sportsland Valley guest ranch over Berthoud Pass. And so I just loved the mountains. I skied very early and very often. I became a very good skier. Lots of time, lots of money, lots of snow. And then my career and my life took me to eventually to New York, which is where I live. But always I've spent maybe a month or so over the years, hiking in the mountains and skiing in the mountains and in the summer, and then skiing in the winter. But I'm always somehow part of my mind is always lives in Colorado. And so it's there as a kind of inspiring force all the time.
As you were writing these lyrics, as you were, it's very, it's visual. I see the whole thing. And that's
good.
That's one thing that I love about it. Which of these visuals came to you, which ones were like the most vivid, or which ones do you like, directly think of when you think of, being a girl growing up in Colorado? All of them?
Yes. Well, I like this. I like the one about when I moved out to the desert, 40 years to lose my soul. I sort of like that one a lot because the contrast is so extraordinary. And, of course, all of us who grow up and then who leave home and then have to find our way out of the dark, all of us have these moments of flashing understanding that our roots are what keep us pinned to the past, in a sense. And we always know we have somewhere to go back to. And we know that one of the things that directs us in our lives is what happened to us when we were young.
I've been talking with a friend about that exact same thing. He talks a lot about the root system, the strong family ties and bonds and friends that that keep him grounded and rooted, even through all the seasons. That's his other thing that he likes talking about is, the seasons of life. Sometimes you're in the summers, sometimes you're in the winters, and sometimes those winters are long and cold, and you got to rely on your roots to keep you grounded and keep you coming back, and keep you standing upright, even when things get nasty.
And I love the chorus, will you take me to the mountains when another, I don't even remember the lyrics. Will you take me to the mountains when another summer comes? Before another, we can catch the outbound zephyr. We can travel like the wind to get back to Colorado.
I saw it all. That reminded me of, driving through Glenwood Canyon and watching the...
God.
Yeah. and watching the train, the commuter train, the Amtrak as it was rolling through, yeah.
Yeah, and I never did get to Glenwood Springs. Well, when we were kids, we'd get up to Glenwood, and we'd go to the baths up there. My father loved the baths, but I haven't done that as an adult. I've skied a lot in Aspen and Vail, but I never since then have stopped in Glenwood Canyon because it's always so busy getting to where you're going,
Oh yeah, that's the truth. And I mean, these days it is, it's even busier to try and get through there. And yeah, so it's always jumping from one place to the next
Yeah. Will you take me to the mountains before another summer ends? We can catch the outbound zephyr. We can travel like the wind. I love it, too. I love singing it. I've been singing it in concerts now, and I must say, people take a big shine to it. They get very excited.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you've performed it quite yet. When did you first write it? Was it relatively recently? Like you said, while you were writing the latest album?
We finished recording in April, maybe. I think we did our last session in April of last year, and I think it might have been the last song that I recorded for this album. I'm pretty sure. Yes, it was, because I remember Tad DeBruck was on, and he's the most wonderful pedal steel player and guitar player. And when we finished, he said, "Oh, that's my favorite of all the songs." They kind of went nuts, and it's great when the studio band goes nuts over the song. You think, "Oh, well, that's a good sign." Yeah.
And you can tell, too. The recording sounds great. I really do enjoy the recording, and especially that slide guitar. It does add the, that little extra something that it needs.
I love the slide guitar. I have always been in love with it. And now Tad DeBruck is going to be on the road with us for some of our shows this year. I don't know. We're going to be back in Denver at the Botanic Gardens. That's always a great date.
And the slide player, it was Tad... What was his last name?
His last name is DeBruck, DeBrooke.
Okay, gotcha. Just wanted to make sure I had that right.
I've even written a song about the pedal steel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I hear the pedals steel, I think of rodeos.
Where do you keep all these lyrics after 5-6 decades of writing music?
I just got an iPad with all of my, well, not all of them, but hundreds of lyrics in it. And it's such a great thing to have because I can go back to songs I haven't remembered doing, both my own songs and all the songs I've recorded of other artists. It's not complete because there are things that didn't get in it, which have to get in it. But yes, you got to keep them in an iPad somewhere because they're scattered all over my studio in New York, and sometimes it's hard to lay your hands on a song that I wrote a song about the floods in New Orleans when that happened in the early. It was in I suppose it was in 2000 and something, 2004 maybe or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called Saints and Angels. And I'd forgotten all about the song, and I was thinking about it the other day. I don't think I put it on an album, which is crazy, because I actually think it's one of my better songs. But I found the lyric in my iPad, and by golly, I figured out what the music was, too, which was surprising, because it's kind of an odd melodic structure. So it's always nice when you remember the music to something you wrote.
Yeah. And is just reading, even the start of the lyrics enough to bring the song back sometimes?
Yeah. It started out, and then I went back to it started out. I think whatever happened to that song, Saints and Angels. I hear the I hear the song. Oh, I'll get it out in a minute and sing it to you.
Uh-huh.
But I started thinking, and it was a strange chord change.
Kind of a jazzy chord change?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Come back again, old New Orleans. I hear the sound of the trumpeter. That trumpeter that played in the New Orleans bands all the time. Pete Fountain. I hear the horn, Pete Fountain play among the in the big parade. Anyway, I'm going to bring it back because I like it a lot. It's fun to play. And when I wrote it, I quickly did a session with a really good band and a chorus and everything. And now I can't find the recording. Isn't that the funniest thing? Nowadays, when we have all this technical stuff, I cannot find it. I know it exists somewhere, but it's not in my iPhone. And my engineer doesn't have it for some reason. He said he switched over the way he does his recordings, and so he'd have to go over to New Jersey to some sort of place where he keeps everything that he doesn't use nowadays. I hear the horn, Pete Fountain play, because I was on one of those parades when I was working in New Orleans. I think I'm getting another call. I better go.
Oh, no problem, Judy. Well, thank you again for making time to talk about the latest song and, of course, your Colorado background.
Lovely. Thank you. God bless.
You too.
Hello,
thank you much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.